perennial planner, and I have a Etsy shop that I'll link to below. And this YouTube channel, in case you didn't see my first YouTube video, is really dedicated to helping you navigate the school closures during the coronavirus of 2020. Just to tell a little bit about my story again, I started homeschooling this year for the first time in the fall. We had our kids in public school for several years, for 6 years. And then this year is our first year in homeschooling. I'm sorry, we public schooled for 5 years, and then we started homeschooling this year. But I would say even before we started homeschooling, I was trying to supplement our public school curriculum, what they were learning in the public school, with what we did at home. And a big part of that has been, other than Bible time and Bible reading and praying with our kids and learning really good hymns, has been thinking about how we can teach them about church history and about missionaries and about all of the believers who've come before them and have worked out their faith practically and gone forward for the Great Commission, making disciples of all the nations. And we want these people to be their heroes too. So I wanted to tell you some of our favorite books that we've used with our kids. And so that's what I'll dedicate this video to. I'm going to do book videos for the next few videos, so you might see me in my same outfit here, and because I'm just going to plug away at these in the few minutes that I have here. Maybe you recognize the bun and the hair and the headband these days. I'm sure if you've got kids home, all of a sudden maybe you're whipping yourself into shape in the morning too, like I do pretty much every morning. Okay, well, I'm going to start with the books that we used earliest with our kids when they were younger and the stories needed to be shorter. So this one I actually just found at the Goodwill, and it's called I Heard Good News Today, Stories for Children by Cornelia Lane. And it's just very short stories that talk about how scripture was brought to various people groups and the people who brought scripture. And they're anything from really epic stories of people you've heard about, like St. Patrick, to maybe really obscure stories of somebody that you'd never heard about. So we really enjoyed those stories. Another one that I read with my 4-year-old last year when she was 4 was Church History ABCs. And this is by Stephen Nichols and illustrated by Ned Bustard. Let me just show you a couple pages from here. So it'll have things like A for Augustine, and it'll say A is for apricot, apple, and Augustine, Africa's ancient bishop. And then it'll tell a little bit more about him, about his biography. And I tried with my preschooler to show her the picture and have her be familiar enough with the person that she could tell me who that person was and maybe a sentence about them. I would just pick up a sentence out of the text, and we would memorize it together, and then we'd say it each day together as we read the next person, so that she knew some of these famous people in church history. Also, the same pair came up with the Reformation ABCs. And this is some overlap with the other book too, but like Augustine's in this one too. But this one I like because it has more story on each page, which is kind of ironic because it's a smaller book. But these two are just, we haven't gotten all the way through this one, but these two are just really awesome books that I think you'll really enjoy with your kids. And then moving up to the next books that I gave my girls when they were a little bit older, still really short stories, but these they read on their own and love them. There's a bunch of these, and there's ones for girls and there's ones for boys, and they're by Light Keepers is the name of the series. And they have all different names. Each book is about 10 different girls. So this is 10 girls who used their talents. Irene Howat, Howat is the author. This one is 10 Girls Who Changed the World, 10 Girls Who Didn't Give In. My oldest daughter loved these books, and she would read them over and over because there's so many adventurous stories about things that women did and problems they solved, and kind of acts of heroism, whether it be for the church or for their community. So we love those, and I use them for part of my second graders homeschool curriculum. I just assign her a story to read a couple times a week out of those, and they're only a couple pages, well, maybe they're like 5 to 10 pages each, so they're for each of the people, so they're really short. Another thing for all ages are these hymns for a heart, and there's a few volumes. I'm not even sure how many. I was given this a long time ago, and we love this. It's by Bobby Wolgemuth, who has now passed away, and Johnny Erickson Tata, and they wrote these together, and they have a story that introduces you to a person who wrote the hymn. They have really beautiful illustrations. And then they have a note from Johnny Erickson Tata, and then they actually have the hymn right in there that you can sing together. And then I think that this originally came with a CD too. I don't know if you can still buy them that way. I'll see if I can find it and link to it down below. All right, these are my all-time favorite series for kids for biographies, and that's the Christian heroes then and now. Just hold up a handful of them. There's a whole series of these, and whenever friends ask what biographies I read to my kids, I always tell them this. And the reason I really like them is because they're not watered down too much. They really have a lot of detail that you would find in the original biographies. They're just more abbreviated, but because of that, because there's a lot of detail in these, you do want to be careful to kind of like read ahead a little bit, or maybe just edit what you say depending on your age group or what kinds of things you've shared with your kids or not. So some of our very favorites are Amy Carmichael. This lady I had never read a biography by before, but this is amazing, and it made me want to read her actual biography, Gladys Aylward. And she went to China, and she actually she was tasked to help stop foot binding. And while she did that, she shared the gospel. Corrie ten Boom, that one is really heartrending, and again, it's very detailed, so you just might want to be careful and read ahead a little bit. But really wonderful biography. And then Adoniram Judson, the first white American missionary sent from the United States, and he was sent to Burma, which is now Myanmar. And his biography, To the Golden Shore, has just meant so much to my husband and myself, so I wanted the kids to read this as well. The other one that I really, really love is George Mueller, and I love that too. But any of the series that I've read, we really, really do enjoy. And then the last one that I wanted to tell you about in this short video is the Christian Almanac, and I talked about this in my last video. This is a giant book, but the thing I like about it is it has, so you could see 12 black marks down the side, because there's one for every month of the year. And in each month, there's a reading for each day of the year. So whatever day you're on, you can there's even a Bible reading to go along with it. So when you open to it, on one side it is going to be a story of somebody from history. And then it's usually somebody who has something to do with church history, or it's usually linked to church history, I would say. That's why it's the Christian Almanac. It does tell different feast days, and then it has really great quotes. And then all along here are things that happen on this day in history, either in world history or church history. So it just introduces our family to a lot of different names, a lot of different people in United States government history, and also in church history and world history. So I've enjoyed that personally. I feel like it's made me a lot more comfortable with things in our history that I've forgotten about and have blocked out in the busyness of life. So so I hope you enjoyed those recommendations. I'll try to link to as many as I can down below. And if you are wanting to see more videos about furthering your kids' education at home, just subscribe to my channel, and I'll try to keep putting up videos regularly that could help you as you journey into who knows how long of keeping your kids home and pushing forward the needle on their education even though they're not being formally educated at school. I think it's important that we take it upon ourselves to make sure that our kids are being educated. It doesn't have to look exactly like it did at school with the school day perfectly structured. It can really just be education through books, or you can, like I said before in my last video, you can educate. There's various websites, there's various activity books, and so I will be talking about more of those as I go in these videos. Okay, have a good day. Bye.